I'm Batman.
Who are you?
My name is Bond. I'm Batman.
Name's Bond.
James Bond.
I'm Batman.
Bond. James Bond. I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
This is the Batman vs. James Bond show. The show covering everything related to Batman and James Bond movies. And now, here's your host, Brian Thomas.
Welcome, everyone, to Episode 7 of the Batman vs. James Bond show. I am your host, Brian Thomas. Thanks for joining me. This is the show where we discuss everything related to Batman and James Bond movies, news, trailers, scores, reviews, matchups, and more. First off, I'd like to thank everyone who's tuned in since Episode 1. Thank you very much. And for all you newbies out there, new listeners, welcome. Thanks for joining me. Grab a martini, or if you're like Bruce Wayne and don't drink, grab ginger ale, put a little ice in there, sit back and relax because we have a lot to talk about. See, I'm doing my really crazy DJ voice because I've had a lot of coffee today, a lot of energy. I don't do energy drinks, but yeah, we'll just say that I'm a little hyper right now, just fair warning. Anywho, before we get started, just a few things I want to mention. Number one, please subscribe to the Batman vs. James Bond show on iTunes and leave a nice little review for me on there. I'd very much appreciate it. Number two, well, I don't know how to say this, but I regret to inform you guys that I, Brian Thomas, am wearing a Superman t-shirt as I'm recording this episode. Oh my God! He's a Batman fan. He said Batman versus James Bond show, but he's wearing a Superman t-shirt. Oh my God! All hell's breaking loose. No, everything's fine. Remember, I am a DC fan at heart. Obviously, if I'm doing this show. No. I a couple weeks ago I sprang for some new t-shirts, and of course a Batman t-shirt was in there because I had to have the new Dark Knight. Well, it's not Dark Knight. I'm sorry. It's the new Ben Affleck Batman Dark Knight t-shirt with that oversized Batman emblem on there, and I'm like, you know what I don't have also is a Superman t-shirt, and I'm like, well, I'm a fan of Man of Steel, and I'm a fan of I would like to think I was going to be a bigger fan of Batman v Superman. Besides the point, though, the shirt looked pretty badass, and I'm like, all right, I want it. So, I'm wearing it today, and then, I couldn't help but, I posted on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, this could create some really big nerd outrage. I don't know if you fans out there are, just obviously you're a DC Comics fan if you're listening to this. I mean, James Bond fans, you can kind of relate when we talk later on in the year about Jason Bourne versus James Bond, James Bond versus, Mission Impossible movies or any kind of other spy movies that are out there. But there's something I wanted to address anyway. And that actually isn't the reason I'm wearing this t-shirt, but I did want to touch on this. So we all know that, there's this whole big feud out there going on between DC fans, what are they called? The DCEU, DCU, same thing. DC comic movies produced by Warner Brothers, and Marvel movies, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, if you're not a DC fan, then, well, I don't know. Maybe you didn't know about this, and that's okay too, but I'll explain it to you real quick. Marvel movies Marvel Studios, or the Marvel Cinematic Universe is owned by Walt Disney, or Disney, Little Mouse, Big Ears. And, they own pretty much everything there is, and I'm not here to bash on them at all. I have my thoughts on that, and I if I haven't shared it, then I will continue to do that throughout this show. My biggest, what I'm getting at is, though, that there's this really strong, epic battle between DC fans and Marvel fans, and I can't quite figure out why it is. It's like we have two parties, and, you could almost relate to politics, and something I really hate is politics. And that's one thing you'll never hear on this show, but it's going to sound like it. It's just, you have one side, the DC side, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, whoever else I'm forgetting. You have the Marvel side, which would be Iron Man, Captain America, and, well, now even Spider-Man. And all these fans, and it's such a big rivalry. There's, if you're not a DC fan, then you're looked at as a Marvel fan. And if you're not a Marvel fan, then you're looked at as a DC fan. You can't just like all movies, and it's become a nerd outrage. So by me wearing this shirt, who knows, there could be like even stronger fans out there that are Batman fans looking at me right now like saying, oh, well, he's wearing a Superman t-shirt. Well, he's not a true Batman fan. And the way I look at that, it's like, okay, well, I like movies, and I really love the Man of Steel movie. I still love Batman movies. That's okay. I can still look at the other side, and when I say the other side, I'm talking about the MCU, has all the Avengers and stuff on it. I still enjoy those movies, and yeah, right now, there's also something else going on where, with everything that happened with Batman v Superman, obviously the critical reception and the fan reception was split both ways. There was the critics didn't like it, 29% Rotten Tomatoes, whatever it was. The fans gave it maybe a 73% average on there that they actually did like it. But a lot of rumors have been out there that all the critics are on the payroll by Walt Disney to bash this movie because, they have nothing better to do. I don't believe that. Or at least I would like to keep an open mind that that's not true. I don't know how Hollywood works, and maybe that is a political game in itself. I still believe, though, that, deep down, and I went in, we've heard my review, and go back and listen to episode 4 or 5, whatever episode it was, Batman v Superman review, liked the movie, didn't love it. And that doesn't make me any less than a Batman fan. I love the Batman stuff in there. I just think there was too much going on. Critics probably felt that way, and I would like to think, like I said, that there's DC Critics fans, and you can hear it on these other shows out there. You read all the blogs. There are DC fans out there. There's critics out there that just didn't care for this movie. Now you have, on the other hand, less than a month later, and it's already started to happen, the next Marvel Cinematic Universe movie is called Captain America Civil War. I'm looking forward to that movie. And does that make me less of a DC fan, less of a Batman fan, less of a even James Bond fan for liking it? No. I want to see a movie. I want to go see a good movie. I've been doing that since I've been a little kid. I don't care. If it ends up being better, then we're probably going to be, the nerd outrage, like I said, it's already important because, the embargo for this movie has already come out. Critics are raving about it, giving it, high praises. This is really like a great, not just comic book movie, but an overall, movie in itself, I guess, whether it's a drama, action, the fight scenes and so forth. So the DC fans are probably going to be like, oh, well, because it's a Marvel Disney movie, then critics love this, and they always give, favoritism towards Marvel and Walt Disney. Could be true. I can see your point on that, sure. I went back and I watched Ant-Man in theaters, and I got to say, it was okay. It was just all right. And, looking back, I know I liked Batman v Superman way better than that. However, somehow the critics gave it like a 70 to 80% fresh rating on there. Once again, with Rotten Tomatoes, you don't have to go by that. I will look at it, but if I really want to see a movie, I'm still going to go see that movie and make my own opinion, because everybody's entitled to their own opinion when it comes to a movie. Now, is it possible that there are more Marvel fans out there, or maybe just Marvel's formula works better than the DC Universe's formula? We don't know, because we've only had 2 movies out of this new DC universe. We've had Man of Steel, and we've had Batman v Superman. One worked pretty good. I mean, critical reception, even with Man of Steel, was mixed, but it was, there were bigger fans of it. With this, Batman v Superman, a lot of people were like scratching their heads and be like, that wasn't the direction I was expecting it to go in. You either loved it, you hated it, or you're in between. I'm the in between. That's my opinion. That's who I am. With the whole DC versus Marvel feud, though, getting back to that, though, I don't see why all of us as fans, and I consider definitely myself a fan of Batman, I have all the way back since kindergarten, 1989, when the first movie came out. I don't see why we can't go see these movies, and we don't have to be divided, if you will, about all this. I don't think it's necessary at all. I think we should just go, if we want to go see a good movie, go see a good movie. If you go in with a biased attitude, and I've almost gotten to that point right now, and I know you were just saying, hey, everybody's entitled to their opinion, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, I'm a little hurt that, this new Avengers movie, this new Captain America Civil War, it looks pretty good. I'm excited for it. I have been excited because I really think the last Captain America movie was a great movie. At the same time, though, I still have my feelings that the whole shared universe thing is causing more harm than good. It is all it is, at least, how I feel is that it is just an extended TV series. It's nothing different than watching episodes of House of Cards, Breaking Bad, or even, episodes of Arrow, which I really love. Or at least I haven't checked in since season 4, so I have to go back and watch that. Still, it's just, it's one long TV episode. I won't keep getting into it, but I don't always want to keep seeing the TV, having to go watch a TV episode at the movie theater. I go there to see a 2.5 hour experience, whatever it's going to be, built up into one big blockbuster action movie, at least when it comes to Batman movies. Same with James Bond. And I just want to, like I said, want to be wowed. I just want to go in that movie theater, enjoy that experience. So, just want to get that off my chest. I put it on Instagram too. It's like, yes, I'm a Batman fan wearing a Superman t-shirt. Yes, proving that we all can just get along. I'm not saying I'm going to go out there and wear a Captain America t-shirt. I don't have any. I'm a bigger fan, obviously, of Batman, Superman, and James Bond. But I'm not saying that it's not okay to like those movies. If you are a fan of those, that doesn't make you any, less of a fan of whatever. So just putting that out there. So anyway, enough of my little banter there. Just wanted to share that with you guys. So without further ado, let's just hop into some news. Wow, I feel like 200% better with getting that off my chest. Not really, but it's not going to change a thing. You can change, I can change, we can all change. There's my Rocky quote. Oh, I said that on a Batman versus Superman show. Sue me. Kidding. Anyway, so a lot of news came out this week, and some of it was, not surprising. Some of it was surprising, but I think for all you Batman fans out there, and if you were the Batman v Superman fan that, when you went to see that movie, the one thing we haven't complained about, or at least I haven't heard anybody really complain about, was Ben Affleck and his performance as Batman. So there was a little thing called CinemaCon that happened. It's been happening since like at least 2011 over in Las Vegas. I honestly forgot about it because there's so many of these cons that are coming out. I mean, I was looking over my list actually, and there's Awesome Con that's coming out in June. Let's see. Actually, I have it right here in my little show notes here. Awesome Con that happens in the D.C. area, not too far from my neck of the woods. That's happening on June 3rd through the 5th. I'm about to buy my tickets next week once payday hits. Definitely something for you guys to check out. I know that actually Adam West, Batman's going to be out there. I know I said I wasn't the biggest fan of the TV show, just because it was kind of like, maybe it was the time period that was happening. It was kind of cheesy, kind of corny Batman, and him and Robin in little tights running around, bam, boom, whatever. But I still would like to meet him. And, maybe I'll go back and watch that. And, maybe I'll have, I'm not saying I don't, I do respect it. I'm just, and, if we wouldn't have had that TV show, then we probably wouldn't even had the Michael Keaton Batman. So just a thought. Other cons that are going to be happening is San Diego Comic-Con. That's the biggie. That's happening in July 21st through the 24th. Mark your calendars there. One thing I'm not going to be able to make it to, and I heard that's pretty hard and expensive. And I unfortunately, I'm just married. So that's not going to be happening for at least another couple years. In the area, if you are in the Baltimore, D.C. area, yes, I know there's other Comic-Cons out there. For you Maryland listeners out there, D.C. listeners, there's also Baltimore Comic-Con. That's going to be happening the 2nd through the 4th. And in New York, there's the New York Comic-Con, probably one of the second biggest Comic-Cons out there. That's happening October 6th through the 9th. I went last year for the first time. I had a blast. Yes, I dressed up in my Batman Begins costume. I'll post it on Instagram. I'll post some more pictures during that time when the Comic-Cons come back out. But I did want to make you guys aware of this, or at least you guys that do live in the area, or at least on the east, on the east side of the United States anyway. Any other Comic-Cons that are going to be happening, I will make note of and let you guys know about it. But getting back to CinemaCon, this does, like I said, it's another one of the cons by the movies. It's by the National Association of Theaters, I believe it is. Something. It's called NATO. Anyway, it's another Comic-Con. Well, it's not Comic-Con, but it's another con, another excuse to go see all these announcements from the major studios. The ones that we were happy to hear about were Ben Affleck has been announced. Well, I'm sorry. It has been officially announced by Warner Brothers CEO I can never say his last name. Kevin Tsujihara. There we go. He announced in Las Vegas. It has been officially announced by Warner Brothers CEO Kevin Tsujihara that a Ben Affleck solo Batman movie is in the works. Ding! Yeah. So he took the stage, and he was saying about the record-breaking opening weekend that Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice had. He quoted saying, "It set up a great foundation for our DC slate, which includes at least 10 movies through 2020. I'm also excited to know that we will be working with Ben Affleck on a standalone Batman movie." Now, let's go back to the facts before we start delving too deep into this. We know that Ben Affleck, and I reported this before, is Ben Affleck is co-writing his own Batman movie with DC Comics CCO Geoff Johns, who's I believe he's a comic book writer for DC Comics. He's expected to direct as well, but it hasn't been officially confirmed. So, what does this mean? What does this mean? Okay, it means that they're working with him now. Never did he not say specifically that he was directing it, but let's put two and two together here. We know what's going to happen. Ben Affleck is, practically an Oscar. Well, he's an Oscar winner. Let's get that straight. One for writing Good Will Hunting, and the other for producing Argo, which he actually helped write and direct, with the writer Chris Terrio, who helped write a little bit of Batman v Superman. So what does this mean? It means that there's probably, if I was going to Vegas right now, which I wish I could, or, if I was going to Atlantic City, I would do a Wesley Snipes, always bet on black, and I would put all my money that Ben Affleck is directing a standalone Batman movie. If they want to call it The Batman right now, that's cool. So I'm excited. I am truly excited. Now, here's my thoughts on Ben Affleck, and I don't know if I really shared them before. I think the movies I've seen that he has directed, whether it be The Town, Argo, I did not see Gone Baby Gone. I did see him, he did act, well, yeah, he's an actor, obviously, but in a movie that he didn't direct when he was acting was Gone Girl. And I think he did a great job in that as, his performance. I think overall, though, he's a better director. I think he does better behind the camera than he does in front of the camera. I'm not saying that he's not a good actor. I'm just saying that he might not be. I don't think he's ever going to win an award for his acting. I just think that, just that his personality just ends up meshing well with this Batman, with Bruce Wayne and Batman, and I think it's great. He's also a very talented writer. Loved his writing with Argo, The Town, and Good Will Hunting. I'm pretty sure he wrote at least two of those. So it's happening. We just don't know exactly all the details. I'm just waiting for Ben Affleck just to put aside or out of his own bat cave, just do a little bat signal, and I want him to write on there. It says, "Yes, it's true. I am directing Batman." And then just mic drop and just be out of there. So we don't know. And, we'll go real quick into this. Even though I probably talked about it before, I always like talking about Batman. That's why I do this show. What I would like to see in this standalone Batman movie, and please let me know your thoughts. Tweet me at Batman versus Bond on Twitter. Let me know what you would like to see in this Batman movie. Honestly, I'd like to see, and this is going to be leading into my next story, but I'd like to see I don't want to see an origin story, because we've seen that with Batman Begins. I'm not saying that it can't happen. I'm saying that I'd just like to see him just already be Batman, be the world's greatest detective, trying to chase the Joker, which would probably be the smartest move, because you already have your Joker set up, Jared Leto. They've already set it up in the Suicide Squad movie, as we've seen in the trailer, which I will be talking about in a second. But I'd like to know how Robin died. I'm guessing that it was Joker. If it's anything like the comics, and it seems like Ben Affleck, I almost said Batflick. I can say that too, I suppose. I think that he's obviously a fan of Batman, clearly, if you're going to build your own Bat cave. That, I think he's going to do the property justice. Damn, I did it again. I'm not trying to do these little puns in there, but it just keeps slipping out. It's really hard for it not to. I would like to see Batman versus Joker. I want to know how Robin, died. I want to know. I'd like to see more of before he was, spoiler alert, killing, and just that Batman movie, just the Batman, the touches of Batman that we had in Batman v Superman. That was probably the greatest parts of that movie. How did he, I'm trying to think what I'd like to see, and man, this is an interesting thing. if does he just have to battle the Joker? What other villains are out there? This is another good question I'd like to bring out to everybody. What villains would you like to see that Batman has not, battled? Because we know we've seen enough of Two-Face. We've seen, and I say enough because there's so many other characters out there in the DC universe that we haven't even began to touch on, and ones that I don't even know about because, like I said, I'm a Batman movie fan. As for comics, I'm not saying that, I've started to read, the new 52 Batman comics, but there's so many out there that I'm not even aware of. And, maybe you guys can let me know which villains you would like to see. What would you like to see in a Batman movie? So, hit me up on Twitter or email me. Let me know. So moving on here. This is really one of the biggest, or the second biggest stories. It could be even bigger than Ben Affleck because we knew that Ben Affleck, being, working on a Batman movie was kind of happening. If you're going to sign that kind of talent, a director of that caliber, then you know that, you have to set up a deal saying, oh, well, Ben, of course we're going to let you direct a Batman movie. You just got to, just kind of sit tight, just be in this movie, and then we're going to let you do your own thing, and then, you'll have your keys to the Batcave and to the Batmobile, and you can do whatever you want. What I'm trying to say is he's pretty much like a Clint Eastwood, Christopher Nolan. He's up to that caliber already. He's pretty young. He's only in his mid-40s, but they're going to let, because his movies draw in crowds and stuff, I think they're going to pretty much let him do whatever, and they have faith in him, and as do I. So, going back, the second story here is Suicide Squad trailer. And, you have to forgive me because it's actually now referred to as the Suicide Squad trailer, Ballroom Blitz trailer. And if you saw the trailer, first of all, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I didn't know we were going to get another trailer this week. Like I said, I didn't even know CinemaCon was going to be happening this week. So this was just a whole lot of good news for me and for all the fans as well. So all of a sudden, I think it was like either Tuesday or Wednesday this past week, all of a sudden I hear, I get on Twitter or I just, it's breaking out all over the internet and they're saying, oh, there's a new Suicide Squad trailer. I'm like, already? We just had one. I was like, it's like Christmas all over again. I hope it's as good as the first and second one, because if you go back and look at the first and the second one, first one was, what do we say? It wasn't like joke, all jokes and puns, and it was kind of dark. It was just like I had that song, I started a joke. I'm not even going to try to sing it, not right now. And it just showed like more of Harley Quinn and more of Amanda Waller in there and a little bit of Will Smith. You notice how I said a little bit of Will Smith? They barely put him in there. Then you had the classic line from Joker saying, "Oh, I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to hurt you really, really bad." My best Jared Leto so far. I'll keep working with it. I can only do, not even the Jack Nicholson. I can kind of do the Heath Ledger Joker. Why so serious? That's the best one I could do. I'm here all night. Try the veal. Anyway, so by the time we got to the second one, it's kind of like they decided to go for, and you can kind of see how they're going with the kind of a Marvel theme with the whole, people have compared the second one to Guardians of the Galaxy trailer because the whole music in there with, Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody, but it fit and it didn't feel like a Marvel movie, which I really enjoyed. There was more humor in there, and it was Margot Robbie, who I am a huge fan of. If you haven't figured out by now, I am a huge fan. Go watch her in Wolf of Wall Street. Oh my God. Go watch her even in Focus, and you can see even the chemistry there with Will Smith and her, and it's going to obviously shine on or show up more in Suicide Squad. So they showed that, and, there's more jokes in there, there's more Joker, and there's a little bit more of Batman in there. And it's like, okay, well, this is an interesting tone because they're, for a studio that said they're not going to have, they're going to go dark and they're not going to have jokes, they threw jokes in there, and, it's like, we're bad guys, it's what we do. And it's like, you nailed it. You sold me. I don't want to see anything else. I just want to go into this movie and just, I have high expectations. And actually this one, and don't get mad at me. You can if you want. It wouldn't be the first time. I am more excited for this movie. And even before I saw Batman v Superman, I was like, you know what? Suicide Squad, while I know Batman's going to be in this movie, but, just out of all the comic book movies that are coming out this year, this is going to be the one that's going to be the head turner, that's going to be the best one. And I still stand by that. Like I said, don't, get upset, but it is what it is. So when I saw this third one, and, we'll do a quick trailer analysis of this movie. watching the Suicide Squad trailer, it kind of starts off, it's over in DC, and it shows like the Pentagon and just a whole bunch of suits in there, and Amanda Waller in there, and this guy, and I don't know what his name is, but he just kind of says, so what if Superman were to tear into the White House and, just kind of wreak havoc? And all of a sudden they start showing more, they just kind of show the Suicide Squad, and then all of a sudden you hear the Joker laugh in there, and I like this Joker laugh. I can already tell that Jared Leto is putting on his spin on this Joker. I even read like an article, now whether it's true or not, I have no idea, that he talked to like some criminals, or he talked to some kind of, how do I say this? Some people there might have lost their mind, and just to get like an interesting edge for this Joker, I guess trying to prepare for the role. If it's the Joker, you can go all different ways, but I think he's going for the, kind of like a gangster kind of, psychopath, if you will. So they show that, and all of a sudden, you have a new song in there, and that's the interesting thing about these new, or at least the Suicide Squad movies compared to like the Batman trailer and Batman v Superman trailer. They're using more kind of like, I would say like more mainstream music in a way, or more classic rock kind of music. So the first song, it's like You Don't Own Me. I don't know who it's by, but I can tweet it out to you guys. Kind of like this kind of pop, kind of hip hop kind of music. I really dug it. And they're, you can tell already who they're talking about is Harley Quinn, because the money shot of all money shots, and it's all over, social media right now. It's, Harley Quinn dressing up in her little booty shorts and her red bra and putting on the mini t-shirt that she is wearing and pigtails. And, and she's like, what? That girl, I really hope she nails that role. I know she's going to nail that role. I have faith in her. I know she can nail this role. You have Will Smith in there, and what I like is now they're starting to show more of Will Smith in there, because at first, Will Smith was, when was the last time that Will Smith really did like a movie that everybody liked? I mean, I enjoyed Focus. I haven't seen Concussion yet. I want to see it. But, the fact that he's playing Deadshot, and he really is the lead character in this movie. And, you have Jared Leto, you have Margot Robbie, but they've been obviously showing more focus on Harley Quinn, and the same with the Joker. Him playing Deadshot, the only Deadshot portrayal I've seen so far is in Arrow, and I like that portrayal of him, but this one seems to be, more of a rough, kind of stronger, and, this guy was obviously more military-based than, say, the guy in Arrow, with all respect to him. The most interesting part about this trailer was that, another song that they obviously played in there was, Ballroom Blitz. That's why it was called Ballroom Blitz trailer. But when they played Ballroom Blitz, they kind of went back to what they did in trailer 2 with the tone of it. They kind of said, okay, now we're going to have more humor in this. If you we have Rick, what's his name? Rick, I think it's Rick Flag. He's saying, if you disobey me, I will kill you. If you try to vex me, I will kill you. And then you have Harley Quinn saying, I've been known for vexing. And she's like, I will kill you. And it's a dark humor, but it works very well. The bar scene, the bartending scene where Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie, is behind that. I'm really giddy right now. She's serving the drinks, and she's looking to kill her cock. Say, what do you have? And he's like, beer. And, what's the samurai chick? I don't know her name. I had to find this out. I need to do some research on this. She says, I'll have a shot at whiskey or whatever. And then Will Smith saying, holding this little mini shot glass, like, really? Only this size? Am I kid? What am I, like 18? Whatever. And then she looks at Pyro, the guy with the flames that come out of his hands, says, what for you, doll? Be like, water. And they showed like the clip of the flames coming out of his hands. And she's like, probably a good idea, doll. And all of a sudden at the end of the trailer, what do we see is the Batmobile just doing like a kind of like a J-turn, or just kind of like it's doing a car chase. And the one we've seen before with Joker driving his pink purple Lamborghini, I believe it's the same one where Harley Quinn Margot Robbie was in as well. So we know that's going to be a big thing in there. Like I said, the biggest thing also was how we saw even more Batman. Like Harley Quinn was falling off like this, looked like a pier almost. And Batman had some kind of mask over his suit, like he was diving to save her into the water. And all of a sudden you also see him carrying her. to the Batmobile. So I want to know, and maybe you guys can help shed some light on this, how much Batman are we going to be seeing in Suicide Squad? Obviously, Batman is very easily marketable. I mean, I can't go not even a week without seeing some kind of Batman symbol, whether it's a Batman t-shirt. Obviously, I walked past a comics bookstore today, and, I got all excited because I saw a Batman symbol. My wife goes to me saying, hey, Brian, look at this. I'm like, what is it, dear? Oh, there's a Batman bumper sticker. I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's like, okay, I'm a Batman fan, but you know what? I don't know if I put that on my car, but hey, I did do it in my cubicle at work. Though, anywho, so I think it's easy to say that, you put Batman in this, you start marketing more of Batman, people are going to get excited because what did we say before? A lot of people, or almost everybody, love Ben Affleck's Batman in Batman v Superman. So what do you go with? This isn't obviously going to be a Batman movie. It's Batman making a cameo in this. They've mentioned Superman. It's all tying in with the shared universe, whatever, don't get me started. At the same time, though, I can understand why they're doing that, because we will get a chance to see a little bit of Batman versus the Joker, which I'm really excited about. He saves Harley Quinn. Maybe we see how Harley Quinn becomes Harley Quinn. That would be an interesting way to start this movie. As a matter of fact, I'd be willing to bet money, and here's my Vegas odds again, that if they were doing kind of like an opening prologue to the Suicide Squad, or at least how it got started, maybe it's a flashback. It's going to be Batman chasing the Joker in this Lamborghini. Somehow, whatever, Margot Robbie and Harley Quinn, but same person. Harley Quinn, gets dumped out by the Joker and, said whatever, and Batman saves her. Just a thought. And then that's probably how she ended up in the jail, into Arkham or wherever they are. So just a thought. But, like I said, everything, I've seen with the Suicide Squad trailer, I'm almost thinking that the Joker is going to be the main villain in this, which would make more sense because you're not going to just have Jared Leto just do a cameo in this. I think there's too much. You've established this Joker, you've teased him enough, and I don't think you're just going to do cameo appearances by him. One thing to do Batman that way, but a totally different thing to do Jared Leto, the Joker, is that. So I don't know how much we're going to see of him. Maybe he's kind of just back there, and then near the end, it builds up kind of like James Bond movies do, and then all of a sudden, oh, here's your villain, here's the Joker, and, whatever. So I have no idea, but I know what I would like to see. Like I said, when I see all these trailers, and I don't know if you do the same thing as well, but I kind of just build it up in my head, and by the time I get to the movie, it's either going to work out that way or they put a different spin on it. I don't know. I'm not a Hollywood producer. I'm not a Hollywood writer, and I'm just a fan. So moving on here. So for all you James Bond fans that are tired of me talking Batman, well, I'm finished for now. But I do have some James Bond news that I did want to talk about tonight. There is an exhibition in Paris that is going on for quite a while, actually. As far as I know, it's going to be going on until possibly October from what I have here. So this has been going on for a little while now. And, this is, I guess, just the thing, luckily with social media and the internet, is that you find out about all these other exhibitions that are going on, and maybe one day I can make it out to Paris. I'd like to make it out to Europe. That's another story for another day. But the cool thing about this James Bond exhibition is they're celebrating their own 50 years. Now, the main 50-year anniversary was before this podcast was created, but it was back in 2012, the year Skyfall came out, and it was celebrated right around November, I believe it was. Like I said, 50 years of James Bond. Right now we're at about 54 years. So that means 55 years, and we can do a big celebration next year as long as this podcast is around. So what do they do in this exhibition? So they gathered more than 500 original objects of the James Bond universe. They gather for this exhibition. You'll get to see all kinds of things there. You get to see the two Aston Martins that were driven by Daniel Craig and Spectre. You get to see costumes, film props, gadgets, film sets from Spectre. You get to see all kinds of things. You actually get to journey through the Bond universe. It ends in the Palais de Glace, or Ice Palace, where you'll be able to see projections of 007's best action scenes in the snow. Other things you get to see are Daniel Craig's white suit from Spectre, Léa Seydoux' satin dress, Roger Moore's white tuxedo from Octopussy, the space suit from Moonraker, the golden pistol from the man with the golden gun, the steel teeth of the brutal assassin Jaws, a fake gold bar signed by Sean Connery from Goldfinger, a replica of M, the boss of the Secret Service agents, a golden room with a collection of the golden objects from the saga. I'm not finished. Wait, there's more. The motorcycle ridden by Pierce Brosnan in Tomorrow Never Dies, a mannequin of the woman painted in Goldfinger, the original manuscript of Dr. No, first editions of the James Bond novels that have been made into films. Wow. I really, I hope that all the fans out there that live in Paris or get to go visit Paris this weekend or just in the next couple months, really, I hope you get to go see this and send me pictures, please. Because, just when you said Aston Martin's alone, I'm like, sold. I don't think we've really ever had a James Bond exhibition out here in the States. I'll have to look into it. I know that I've visited James Bond locations before. We know if you are a James Bond fan, you know that what James Bond movie was actually partially set, or had a scene or two set in Paris. I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A View to a Kill. Yeah, I spoiled it. Yeah, it was A View to a Kill. Roger Moore was in that, and that's when he was meeting the detective up there when he was investigating about Max Zorn and what makes his horses so much quicker than he's using steroids and so forth. And then you see the guy get the butterfly right in the the fly casting right in the neck. Not the best way to die at dinner. Really good scene because you get to see Mayday jump off the Eiffel Tower. But what I wanted to get in, though, is we obviously can't talk all night about 50 years of James Bond because we could go on forever about that. But my question to all the Bond fans out there would be, if you could have one prop from any of the James Bond movies, what would it be? I'm trying to give this some thought myself, and this is a really tough one. And, I mean, what do you say props? I mean, you just look at this list. I mean, you're looking at a fake gold bar signed by Sean Connery, the steel teeth of Jaws. I don't know if that's one I would want because if Richard Kiel really had that in his mouth, then I'm going to have to sanitize my hands a lot or I'll have to wear rubber gloves. Now, the white suits from Octopussy and Spectre, those are ones I would not mind having. And the golden pistol from the Man in the Golden Gun, actually, I think that might even be better. But, I mean, obviously one I would like to, or one or two. I know I said one, but I would say the Aston Martin DB, the 1964 Aston Martin DB5 from Goldfinger. I mean, I've seen one of them before in the Spy Museum in Washington, D.C., and my eyes lit up like a little kid in Christmas, and I did not want to leave that place. I know it's still there. I know I've only visited it one time. I know I've gotten James Bond posters from there. Really something to see if you ever come into the States or if you come to the D.C. area. Definitely check it out. There's so many kinds of things. I mean, of course, I would like to have like one of, if you really want to go specific, James Bond's wristwatches. I mean, Sean Connery had his black Rolex that he looked at, when he blew up the factory at the beginning of Goldfinger. That was really cool. The Roger Moore, The Spy Who Loved Me, where he's getting the little telegram on his watch. And that was a really cool watch. And I would say one of my favorites, actually, and this is going back a little way, is 1995 when GoldenEye came out. I remember, like I said, that was my first James Bond experience, and everything about that movie I still love. And one goal I've always had, or one thing I've always wanted from that movie, is that Omega Seamaster watch that he had in there. The one that, had the laser. I know it's a fake laser, but just bear with me, okay? The one that had the laser when he's trying to escape from when 006 trapped him into the train. Wow, I love that watch. I still love that watch. Anytime I see that watch, whether it's on James Bond Lifestyle or if I walk by like in the malls sometimes wherever I go, it's from Puerto Rico. And interesting fact, that's where the real GoldenEye is. I have seen it. It's called Arecibo Space Laboratory. I'll tweet out a picture of it. Really, really cool sight to see because in my head it's just like, oh my God, GoldenEye. It does exist. It's like Judi Dench just came out and literally said it. It's same feeling. Trust me, it's that big. So what I was going with is they have a Omega store there, and when the last James Bond came out last fall, Spectre, they had the new Daniel Craig Spectre Omega Black watch in there with the the armband or the wristband in there that's different. Doesn't have the silver one, but I'm like looking at it. I'm like, oh. I really, really want that. I know I can't afford it, but I really, 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 really want it. And, but something about that Omega Seamaster watch I just love. So, if you are a fan out there and you happen to have a spare Omega, you can send it my way. Other things that I would like to have if I could have my James Bond wish list, here's an interesting one, and it's simple. The Walther Ppk, and not even a gun aficionado, but it's just something about the Walther Ppk and what it represents. Obviously I don't know which one I would want. I mean, if you want to have the original Sean Connery 1962 one, that would be pretty cool to have. Love the one in Skyfall. I liked how in Skyfall they kind of reintroduced it, because it's like, okay, Walther Ppk S9mm short, it's been coded to fit your palm print. The palm print on there, and I did see a picture of there. They do have that gun there, and that would be a really cool collector's item to have. I'm going back here thinking, like, what other gadgets, it doesn't even have to be a gadget. I mean, the tuxes that they had, if you had something like, here's an interesting one, that Diamonds Are Forever. You could have something from there, say, at the beginning of the movie, there was a gadget that, when, I know I just said no gadgets, but it doesn't always have to be gadgets, but, the guard goes in, tries to reach out of Sean Connery's pocket, all of a sudden he pulls out something that has his hands clipped. That'd be pretty cool, because any pickpockets, they know better than to mess with me. The cars in there, the clothing and so forth. Here's an interesting one. Going back to Spectre, there was a jacket, I almost said Sean Connery, yeah. Daniel Craig wore a lot of clothing lines in there, whether it was by Tom Ford or whomever else. But he wore this really interesting jacket in there, and it was when he was doing the snowplane chase in there, and he wore this. It was like a merino wool. I know this isn't Fashion Corner here. He wore this like merino wool sweater jacket in there. And it's like a bomber jacket in a way. It was like, it looked like it was black, but it was really like a dark navy blue and gray. And I was like, I really like that jacket. I really, really like that jacket. Actually, I think I spent half of, after the movie, half my time and trying to track down that jacket, way out of my price range. And of course, all the replicas that are out there either are fakes, or they are, people have already bought them. So, yeah, another one I was just thinking about was the Odd Job hat. How cool would it be to have the Odd Job hat in your man cave or in your lady cave too? Yeah, and this one is always interesting too. I know there's probably not a lot of fans out there, but if you go back and watch Die Another Day, and there's a really, like I said, the first half of that movie, and maybe I haven't talked about this, the first half of that movie I think was great. I think it was, it really set up for a great James Bond film. It's the second half where it just went downhill with CGI and so forth. When James Bond, Pierce Brosnan, is in Cuba, he's, gathering intel from the guy in the cigar factory, kind of like an old, he's kind of like a Valentin Sokovsky, but he's not. But he's been around, he's kind of, he's, whether he's a secret agent, whether he's, some kind of military cutout, whatever, but he's assisting Bond. He's like, oh, take whatever you need. He's having a few drinks with them and stuff. And then Pierce goes over, and he goes over to this guy's bookshelf, and he finds the Book of Birds. And who is it by? But James Bond. Yeah, because that's how, James Bond Ian Fleming came up with the name for James Bond was by that book. So I think that would be actually, you know what, I take it back. I mean, of course I still want an Aston Martin, still want my Omega, but my Omega, yeah, funny. I think the Book of Birds would be, what a great thing to have. You can't just throw that up on your bookshelf. You just have to kind of, put it in some kind of one of those special frames or some kind of glass case, because that book, if you could find, and I'm sure the Fleming family has it, or it's put somewhere in some kind of James Bond, memorabilia or spy museum of some sorts, but to have that book, that's where everything started with a James Bond movie. I'm nerding out here, but I think, it's just, that would be really cool to have. So anyway, once again, my question to all the Bond fans, now that I've nerded out, I want you to nerd out. Let me know, if you could have one prop from any James Bond movie, what would it be? So without further ado, let's go into some other stuff here. Now, here's the thing. So we've talked about reviews and so forth. There's a lot of anniversaries coming up, and I wanted to kind of set the stage for you guys for what's to come with anniversaries and how I'm going to work my reviews, because only so much time in the day, obviously, and I think it makes it more special when we're celebrating an anniversary of a movie. Now, here's the deal. With Batman fans, there's not really like any, I don't want to say like golden anniversaries, no 5-year anniversaries, no 10-year anniversaries. When Batman v Superman, the director's cut comes back out, we will definitely be reviewing that. I will be reviewing that. The Suicide Squad movie that comes out in August, I'll definitely be reviewing that. Because why? Because Batman's going to be in it. So if it's Batman movie, I will cover it. If, like I said before, if there's Batman movies that out there that, even if the cartoons that, you think you would like me to talk about, or if you want to hear about, shoot me a message, and I'll definitely take a look at it. And, I'd like to talk about it because, like I said, Batman movies, I'm all in. One thing I did want to mention, and I didn't get a chance to cover this in the news, is that speaking of the cartoons, there's a Batman cartoon movie coming out, and this is a big one. It's called The Killing Joke, and it has Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill coming back to voice as the Joker and Batman. And what's interesting about this is it's going to be a rated R animated comic book movie, Batman movie. And, for them, I've watched clips before of animated Batman movies, like, say, The Dark Knight Returns, and Batman is chasing after the Joker in the Tunnel of Love, and Joker's going all ape crazy, and he has his pistol and he's shooting everybody in there, and just Batman kind of just, slowly breaks his... He doesn't break his neck, but he almost to the point where he paralyzes him, and the Joker just snaps his neck after the fact. And Batman's like, wow, didn't see that coming. And I could definitely see that being a rated R movie. Now, I'd like to see how far they can push it with this Killing Joke movie, because everything I've heard is that, that I think the Joker kills Barbara Gordon or paralyzes her or kills Batgirl, something to that extent. So once that movie comes out, that's going to add that to the list of reviews that I will be making or checking out. Anniversaries that I did want to mention, since we're on the topic of reviews. The next one coming up is actually going to be For Your Eyes Only. That celebrates its 35th anniversary this June 26th, so be on the lookout for that. Diamonds Are Forever. Whoop, I'm skipping ahead here. Casino Royale came out. The next one's going to be in November 17th to be exact. Casino Royale will be celebrating already its 10th anniversary. Boy, do I feel old. I remember when I saw that movie. Oh, I didn't know what to expect. I was a Pierce Brosnan, James Bond fan, and I still am. But that's when it just kind of set the whole tone and be like, all right, I'm sold on Daniel Craig. He is the James Bond. With all due respect to Sean Connery. You can never leave out Sean Connery, because if you leave out Sean Connery, I'm going to break this martini over your head there, Thomas. Tried my best. Then the final anniversary we'll be doing this year will be The Diamonds Are Forever. That came out in December 17th, all the way back in 1971. That will be celebrating its 45th anniversary. So there's your anniversaries of reviews to come. Like I said, Batman, you will be reviewing the rated R version. If we can find out a date on The Killing Joke, which I will by next episode, I'll let you know when I'll do a review on that. And Suicide Squad. So like I said, I don't want to always do... But the goal with the show, obviously, is Batman, James Bond films. But like I said, if I did a review on every episode, I think I'd be running out of steam. And I think you guys would get bored, too. I want to kind of keep it fresh. So, anywho. But like I said, if you do have any movie... animated movies or something James Bond worthy that you want me to watch and review, I'm up for it. So, moving on here. All right, so we're going to finish it up because we didn't have a chance to finish this, and March is kind of come and gone, and with everything that happened, and all for the good, we did not have a chance to do the March Madness bracket, and I kind of lost track of it, to be honest with you. So I just want to go back to just doing the matchups of the week. I really enjoyed this, and I'm not even going to go into as much detail as I did at kicking this off, or the whole show off. So I'm going to keep it simple. It's going to be everybody at the Batman universe and everybody in the James Bond universe. It's going to be one versus the other. It doesn't just have to be just Batman versus James Bond. It can be villains versus villains. A villain of the Batman universe versus a James Bond. Another James Bond. So that's the cool thing about the show. We can just mix it all kinds of ways. So I'm going to mix it up a little bit this way and start off with villain versus villain. How about this? So I want to do a matchup of Harley Quinn versus Pussy Galore from Goldfinger. Now, we have yet to really see Harley Quinn, and I'm going, obviously, Margot Robbie Harley Quinn, because, Batman animated, like I said, I haven't so much seen. I mean, I remember the Batman, the animated series TV show, which I grew up watching, but we're going to keep it based here in the movie universe, so what we've seen so far. So let's look at the contenders right now. We have Harley Quinn, what we've seen on the trailers, who is all kinds of psycho crazy, but God, is she gorgeous. She carries a baseball bat around. She wears short shorts. She's the Joker's love muffin. And the girl would probably go as far, or all kinds of sorts of crazy. And then you have Pussy Galore, who is, well, she's a pilot. That's always helpful because, she could always do some kind of a aerial attack of some sorts on Harley Quinn. Maybe she'll put together some kind of a airplane with some guns on there or something like that. She knows how to use a gun as well, just like Harley. She obviously knows how to fight because if you look back at Goldfinger, you can see that she took down James Bond, did a couple flips on him, and she's not afraid to get messy. This is really interesting, and, Pussy Galore, and I might have to go with Pussy Galore only because she might be, and this is where age might become a factor too. I make up my own rules as I go, obviously, but, age versus experience, and I can easily say that, Pussy Galore had that wisdom, if you will, and, she knew, she did threaten 007, on the airplane, on Goldfinger's plane, say, with a Smith & Wesson, and then Sean Connery's like, Pussy, you know a lot more about planes than guns. That is a Smith & Wesson. If you fire that, all of us will be shucked out. So maybe Pussy isn't as, smart as I thought she was, but I think overall, though, she's very intelligent, and she's very, she knows how to do hand-to-hand combat. So if you put her versus Harley Quinn, I'm going to have to wait, just say Pussy Galore for the win. Harley Quinn's probably going to be so psychotic that, you never know what's going to happen with her. I mean, who knows? Maybe like in the trailer, she's just going to stop and go get a purse. No, I'm kidding. No, I think that it would be a very, very messy cat fight. Nothing wrong with a cat fight, definitely. Harley would probably have a few sneaky tricks in there, maybe some knives. She does obviously know how to use guns. Like I said, I'm still going to be giving the edge to Pussy Galore. Who knows? Maybe she'll do a Goldfinger. She'll help James Bond, and she'll like Goldfinger. She'll throw Goldfinger out of the airplane, or Harley Quinn would get sucked out of the airplane. Who knows? So as always, guys, weigh in. Let me know what you think. I'll make sure I repost this on there. Harley Quinn versus Pussy Galore as my death match of the week. Let me know what you think. Anywho, so that about wraps it up for this episode of the Batman vs. James Bond show. Please subscribe on iTunes and or Spreaker. Make sure that you rate this show and leave a comment for me. I'd very much appreciate it, like I said at the beginning of the show. Let me know how I'm doing. Feedback is always welcome. And if you are a Marvel fan, I am sorry if I hurt you. If you are a DC fan, Batman fan, and me wearing a Superman t-shirt offends you, I'm sorry. But I did like the movie. I do like the character. I am entitled to my opinion. Yeah, kidding. Follow me on Twitter at Batman vs. Bond, and like me on the Batman vs. James Bond Facebook page. I'm also going to throw this out there. if you are interested in being a guest on the show, please direct message me and we can set something up. I'd love to have you on here. So, like James Bond, I will return. Thanks for listening, and until next time, peace out.